First, I just want to thank Senator Hoeven for his comments on mental health in particular. That's an incredible challenge, and especially in big rural states like mine. Secretary, welcome back. It's always good to see you. I want to ask you about the partial claim payment program. And when that ended relatively abruptly, it was really destabilizing for a lot of veterans in New Mexico. Obviously, we're in a very different interest rate environment than we were at the beginning of the pandemic. What steps is the VA taking to ensure that folks impacted by that will be included in the servicer purchasing program that's been stood up?
Yeah, well, so we're reaching out to veterans who our data shows are struggling. We're communicating also as aggressively as we can to veterans to make sure that they're aware that we are standing up a new support program when the current moratorium expires at the end of this month, end of May. And, you know, we think that, and by the way, as a general matter, we're tracking veteran performance on their VA-backed mortgages because we have a whole series of programs not even associated with what we call the VASP, which is what will roll out when the moratorium ends, that we want to make sure that vets can avail themselves of through our debt management center.
Great.
So we're trying to communicate to vets individually. We're trying to communicate more generally to vets. And the new VASP program, which we've kept the committee up to date on, and will develop the implementation targets more aggressively over the course of the next 4 weeks, will allow us to make sure that veterans struggling do not lose their homes and come up with a more manageable debt picture over time.
Great. I know Senator Collins raised the highly rural transportation grant. I was pleased to be able to work to include some additional funding for that in FY24. My understanding, because I wasn't here when she asked her question, is that you may have referenced a legislative proposal in that area.
Yeah.
Do you want to expound on?
Well, we'd like to. We'd like to, you know, it serves, I mean, you and I, you're the first person to have raised this with me, and that's what I said to Senator Collins when we talked about it privately recently. New Mexico and Maine are uniquely poorly positioned based on the definition of highly rural, as, you know, fewer than 7 people per square mile. We would like to change that in statute.
Great.
Right, and we have some proposals on how we would do that.
Fantastic.
And then, you know, we would couple that with a commensurate increase in funding, because, you know, it's just right now we have too few counties who can participate.
And I'm certainly not going to speak for Senator Collins, but I suspect we would both look forward to working with you on that front.
Great.
You talked a little bit about substance use treatment or substance use disorders. One of the challenges we see in New Mexico is that folks who want to treat their substance use disorder are having real challenges getting access to the medications that they're prescribed by their doctors, particularly buprenorphine. And it's been like literally people can't get their prescriptions filled. There's a number of reasons for this because this is a highly tracked these medications are highly tracked, but I'd love for you to look into that because we want to make sure that our vets who want to get treatment can get the medications that they're being prescribed.
It's a major priority for us to increase medically assisted treatment. And so if there's, let's definitely dig into that. There's no reason a veteran who's struggling and wants to take those steps. Let's make sure that we're there for them when they do it.
Yeah, we've had real challenges with some of the big chain pharmacies just stocking those medications. And we can expand on...
That's interesting.
We'll get together and expand on why that is.
Yeah.
But we're not going to make headway on this if we can't get folks to treatment.
Yeah, well, we're really proud of our medically assisted treatment options, and so that should not be reliant on any of those big boxes. You know, the question is maybe there's a a mail order pharmacy issue for us, but let me dig into that. You got my attention on this. If there's one vet who's struggling to get that, that's too many.
Look forward to working with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here today. And I just want to start off with thank you for all the great work we're seeing the VA do in Nebraska, and especially over this last year.
Thanks.
Last year during this hearing, we talked about needing to invest in the